We are getting so old because now we don't even know the songs they're playing anymore. We tend to think people get excited to talk to us, and they don't. Like, only 3% of the population trust sales professionals at this point. Sometimes one of my clients said it feels like I'm like this waitress at a Waffle House, and they just keep asking me all these questions. I just want to encourage that you do not have to be a jerk to lead the sales call, but you do need to lead it.
Like, you don't have to be a jerk, you don't have to be slimy about it, but that doesn't mean you should just give up control and like, hey, what do you want to talk about?
I just want you to ask yourself this question. Do I set expectations in my call, or do I just start talking?
Hi there, welcome to another episode of Sippin Matcha and helping you make more sales. I'm your host, Scott Greening, and we'll be joined by my co-host, Brooke Greening, where in about the time that it takes her and you to drink your matcha or coffee, she'll give you some great sales advice and input. And this last weekend, we had the opportunity to go to a wedding together for someone from our church, and we learned a couple of things, but what's one of the things that we learned at the wedding?
We are getting so old because now we don't even know the songs they're playing anymore. I was so excited to like dance, and they had one song that I recognized from Sing, the Disney or whatever Netflix movie that they have. I was like, oh, I know that one. But then all the other ones, I was like, I have no idea what this is.
Yep. So we're rapidly approaching 19 years of marriage, and if the dance repertoire does not include like the electric slide, we're
Disney classics.
That's right. We're kind of out. So, and everyone was looking forward to me making a fool of myself on the dance floor, and it really didn't happen because I'm like, I got nothing. Sorry.
You were dancing with little Theo, though, our little buddy.
Yes. One of our friends had a newborn, so I got to hang out with him a little bit. All right. We also learned some other things. So the kind of a neat thing that they did, and evidently is a thing since we got married, is they were signed up on the Knot, which then meant what?
So we got great reminders, both text reminders of where the avenue was at, and what I really appreciated is it set the expectation, so it told you what the day was going to look like. It told us how long the ceremony was, it told us when cocktail hour was, it told us when the dinner was starting. Like, it broke it down for us, and that was really, really helpful, and I greatly appreciated that.
Yeah, it allowed us to enter in to know, okay, when can we check in with the kids, when can we leave, how long is it going to be there. Not that we were like looking to get out of there as fast as possible, but yeah.
No,
we had kids, one of which had been sick all week. Like, we weren't going to stay the whole time.
Yeah, no, poor Busy has pneumonia, influenza B, and an ear infection. But we went anyways. And no, it was really good because it's the reminder that this family and this loving couple have been planning their wedding for over a year, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Kimberly and Walter, we wish you all of the success and love in the world. And it was an absolutely beautiful wedding. It was really nice for us because we could really be able to relax and engage in the whole ceremony because we knew what was happening. We knew what we needed to be able to do. And so a lot of times when you show up to things, sometimes you have no idea what's going on and you don't know what's going to happen next. And so it was just very nice of them to say ceremony 3:30 to 4, cocktail 4 to 5, dinner 5. Everybody's got to be out of there by 9 because that's just when it was done, and that's when the venue was done. And so that was great. That helped us to plan our whole day.
Yeah, it did. And that lesson also applies to our conversation. So we're jumping into kind of a deep dive on your service sales framework, and that starts with setting the expectations. And setting the expectations helps us do some of those things that you talk with the wedding. So why are you excited to talk about setting expectations, Brooke?
Because I feel that for setting expectations, this is something that is very simple and you can do it every single time and people skip it on a regular basis. And this is what needs to happen in order for people to be fully engaged and excited to be able to have a conversation with you. If we do not set the expectations, it's going to start going off of the rails pretty quickly. And we're going to talk about what those areas look like, how you know, but literally it's a 1 to 2 minute practice that can really make or break your whole sales conversation.
Yeah, so if you were going to kind of like define or say what is setting expectations from a high level, not necessarily how to do it yet, but what is it? What is setting expectations?
Setting expectations is you telling them what is going to happen in the conversation so that they can be able to relax and engage with you. Because I think this is very important. I'll say it so many times. One, if you have to talk to people to make a sale, how well you lead that conversation is going to make or break your revenue. But then two, we tend to think people get excited to talk to us, and they don't. Like, only 3% of the population trust sales professionals at this point. So they would rather probably be doing anything else than talking to us. And we need to remember that. And setting the expectation is going to help them to relax and engage with us, because that's not really what's happening in the very beginning of that conversation.
Yeah, people, even when you know you have to like have the conversation or you have to get help or you're looking forward to having help.
Yeah.
They're not looking forward to the sales conversation part of it.
No.
And so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and the other piece is that when I'm working with my clients, what I hear all the time is they don't necessarily see themselves as a salesperson. But even if it's your own business and you're the owner and you're having to talk to people in order to make that sale, for that interaction to start, all of those things, everybody else is looking at you as a sales professional. And so it's really important to know, if you're having a sales conversation, they are already looking at you as a salesperson, and they're not super excited about the conversation that's going to happen. But go have them.
Great. So on that happy note, you kind of like hinted at a couple of these things, but why is it so important to set the expectations very early in the conversation?
Yes, so we want to be doing this like in the first couple of minutes of the sales conversation. And the reason it's important is because if we do not set the expectations, some of these things are going to happen. One, we're going to lose the conversation. So either they are going to take control of it. And I know you guys have felt that before, where they just like start shouting, not shouting, but just start firing things at you. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Sometimes one of my clients said it feels like I'm like this waitress at a Waffle House, and they just keep asking me all these questions. That's going to happen if you don't set the expectations. The other is the other extreme, where then they just completely check out. And now you know you've lost them. Their eyes are kind of going all over the place. Maybe they're clicking on the mouse to see what else is going on. Like, they're not engaged with you. The other thing is, it's an easier way that you can be able to have a good transition from, like, when we're just having a regular conversation, we talk about small talk. Maybe if we're sitting down having coffee with them, we're on Zoom, we don't just go right into it. So it helps to kind of make that transition easier. It's going to set you and your customer up for success, just hands down. It'll set you up for failure if you don't do it. But also, so many people don't realize this. This is going to make talking about the investment later in the conversation so much easier. So many people come to me and they're like, I have a weird time. Like, we're having a great conversation, and then I got to talk about the investment or what we can offer. And it feels like this awful pivot, and I don't know what to do. All of that can be alleviated if we're able to set the expectation. But if you don't, it's going to be really weird to move from like the conversation to the investment piece of it. And it separates you from your competitor.
Great. That was a pretty impressive list of things of why it's so critically important to set the expectations early in your sales conversation. And so like that comment that you made earlier, like, you really can make or break your sales call in the first couple of minutes. And you can set yourself up for everything going a lot better, including hopefully making a sale with that first minute or two. Like, I know it doesn't take long.
No, absolutely. I just want to encourage that you do not have to be a jerk to lead the sales call, but you do need to lead it. You have to be able to lead the sales conversation. And if you do not set the expectations, you're not going to be able to do that, because they're going to take control.
I think people that you interact with, a lot of times they're like so nervous about being salesy or manipulative or pushy that then they don't think they can lead it. So I think that's a good note. Like, you don't have to be a jerk, you don't have to be slimy about it, but that doesn't mean you should just give up control and like, hey, what do you want to talk about?
Right. And sometimes people will do that. And we're going to talk about that actually in our next episode. We're going to talk about like good ways to set expectations, the bad ways to set the expectations. And sometimes literally people are just like, hey, we're just going to see where this goes. And that's it. And that's actually, that's not helping them either. And it's not helping you.
All right. So if somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, okay, I don't know exactly all of what she's talking about. And maybe that's like giving me up, like I'm starting to realize I think that might be me. Like, what's something that could help them process a way that they might have a problem with setting the expectations?
Yeah. I just want you to ask yourself this question. Do I set expectations in my call, or do I just start talking? And by expectations, we said you're telling them what to expect during the conversation so that they can relax and engage with you. Do you do that, or do you just start having the conversation? That's going to help you to know.
Yeah, and I know, just speaking from my own experience, I'll be the bumbling idiot once again with regards to sales, but I know I didn't often do that with people. And even in conversations outside of necessarily sales, like this is a helpful thing when you need to have more than just a chit chat, catch up with friends that, we're just connecting that way. Hey, let's be real about what we're talking about. And it just lets everyone like, okay, we are going to get there. We are going to be able to enter in, and it helps things a lot. So I know
that definitely comes from counseling. Like you don't just launch.
Yeah.
You gotta set the tone, help everybody feel comfortable. This is our goal of what we're doing today. And that's where a lot of it comes into play. But it's incredibly effective. And if we don't do it, it doesn't go very well.
Yeah, and so setting expectations that we're talking about is just the first step in your 7-step sales conversation framework. We call it the service sales framework. And you've developed an assessment for that framework, correct?
Yes, I have. Yes, so you can grab it. It's going to be in the show notes, and it takes probably about 3 to 5 minutes. And it's literally helping you to see all these pieces of the service framework that we're talking about. Because remember, if you have to talk to someone to make a sale, how well you lead that sale is going to make or break your revenue. And so you want to be good at having sales conversations, but in a way that's authentic to you and is able to truly help those who you're talking to. So this assessment actually pulls the curtain back and helps you to see how they're perceiving the call at that point. So many times we're so focused on what we're doing and what we're saying that we are completely forgetting how they are interpreting it. And so this assessment really helps to see that side of it.
Yeah, and I know that it is an eye-opening thing, even though it only takes a few minutes and depending on how analytical you are on the assessment, but it does somewhere around 5 minutes. It'll take you to go through it, but it will be a helpful tool in getting an outside perspective on maybe some blind spots in your sales conversations. So next time we're going to continue this conversation on setting expectations, and we're going to go through the good, the bad, and the cringy, maybe not the ugly, and talk about how you can begin to do that through some real life examples and those types of things. Of course, we always love it when you like the episode, when you subscribe, when you turn on notifications, when you comment, when you share, all of those things. We love to hear from you and appreciate it when you share and let us know that it's valuable. So until the next time, hope you have a great matcha or coffee break.
See you soon.